welcome back to The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. I have 2 points of scuff to quickly address. The first being that you may notice my mouth is not even remotely following what I'm saying. That is because OBS decided to not record my microphone audio onto a new track, as I had moved it onto the new track, but not double checked that I told it to actually record track. So, voiceover. We'll see how well this goes. The second scuff is probably a bit of a broken record if you watch any of my other series. This is the last time I will address it, I promise you. But the reason there was no video last week is because of my hard drive failure. My hard drive was completely shot and I had to replace it, which took some time. And I also then had to reconfigure OBS, hence the issue. But anyways, before I went to the Cave of Flames, I did realize that the ground outside made the shape of this, like, upside-down heart. I just thought it was really cute and wanted to make sure you guys saw it. Now, last time I accidentally poked my head into the Cave of Flames and triggered Ezlo's dialogue about it. I don't really remember what he said. Hopefully it wasn't anything too important. I think it was just something about how hot it was in here. In the second room, we find our first enemy, bombs. Yes, these are basically the Mario enemy, and that's actually the case for a lot of enemies in this game, which is, pretty cool. Hitting them once causes them to light their fuse and start running around like crazy, while hitting them a second time lets you pick them up and throw them. Something I'm definitely very good at, yes. Anyways, in this next room, we've got some spiny shells to deal with, and ones that look very similar to the blue Koopa shells from Mario Kart. Again, just fun little cameos throughout the game. Now, I knew the trick of flipping them upside down, and I showed Ezlo this, but he saw fit to inform me of the knowledge after witnessing me do it already. I think he was a bit miffed that I knew something that he didn't tell me how to do. Now, a fun fact about this room as we kill both the spinies, a chest will appear. If you watch the Return of Vati series, my D&D party actually had to travel through the Cave of Flames, which was based very heavily on this specific dungeon. Even more specifically, a version of it that this exact Link had already traveled through. This was referenced by them making their way into this room and finding a large, opened chest. Now, obviously, it was a fair bit more inhabited with monsters, and the Gorons had done a few renovations before it was overrun again, but it was a fun little detail. Anyways, with the compass in hand, we can move to the next room, and oh, a rupee-like! Yay! Yeah, likes are some of my least favorite enemies. These ones are especially cruel, though, because they're not interested in your shield, they want your money. And if you don't kill them fast enough, you actually will not get that money back, but thankfully we were able to recover what we lost. Making our way deeper into the dungeon, we can see some tracks above us, and those will be pretty important in a bit, but for now, we've got some bombs to deal with, and with literally nowhere else to go, we can head down through this door, taking care of the Helmosaurs as we go. Now, Ezlo was pretty interested in the minecart, even suggesting that we hop in and take it for a spin. Since we can't really do anything else, because this door is locked, I agreed, and we went into the ride of our life. Now, Ezlo wanted nothing more to do with the minecarts, but Link was about ready to hop right back in and just spend the rest of his life going back and forth. But we don't have time for that. We've got a princess to save, we've got some elements to gather, we got stuff to do. So clearing out the enemies in the next couple of rooms, we can go ahead and blow up this crumbling wall, and after taking care of the enemies in this room, we can get a Minish portal, which is kind of fascinating. I wonder why they hide themselves from the dungeon monsters, but not from regular monsters out in the woods or on the mountaintops. Using the portal to shrink down, I was able to fit through a small tunnel that took me to some new rooms. Carefully avoiding the monsters, I found a piece of heart! Too bad I'm too small to pick it up, which means I had to go straight into the next room. Even though I couldn't use the stairs, I was thankfully able to make my way down to the very fiery area, and use the thankfully unburnt Minish portal to return to regular size. And, double thankfully, the fire can be put out with a simple flick of my sword. Man, talk about convenient. Anyways, after killing the red shoes in this room, I was able to open up the big chest and get a hold of a dungeon map. Opening it made me realize just how many treasure chests there are in this dungeon, but thankfully it seems like we took care of everything upstairs already. I was able to get into one of those treasure chests by quickly running over these floating rocks in the lava. However, just like in Skyward Sword, these rocks do not like the weight of one adventurer running over them and will crack and sink a few moments after Link steps on them. Thankfully though, the lava has magical rock restoring properties and is able to repair them so they can bob right back up to the top and run out again in just a few moments. With Kinstone Piece in hand, and Ezlo informing us that falling into boiling hot lava is a bad idea, we're able to step onto a switch that opens the door and carefully make our way over to it. Sadly, moving rocks in this game are not immune to crumbling, and we have to time our crossing pretty carefully to make it over to these pill bugs. Whenever you hit them, they'll curl into a ball, perfect for picking up and tossing into a hole, allowing us to collect these 50 rupees and pick up a pot so we can go up the stairs. Sadly, I accidentally threw a pill bug into the wall on top, but that's okay because as soon as I go through the door, I can reset the puzzle, allow me to ride this whirlwind and push the chest into the hole so I can actually open it. Although I'm pretty sure it would be easier to drop a bomb and blow up the chest. I mean, it's only made of wood. But Link is determined to respect the rules of the dungeon, so into the pit the post goes, and ooh, small key! That's sure to come in handy. In fact, if you remember earlier, there was a locked door by that minecart. Hold on to yourself, Ezlo, we're going for another ride. One death-defying minecart ride later, we can carefully balance on these overhang tracks to make it to the other side, allowing us to hit this switch that redirects the minecarts. But we have to see where they lead now. Oh hey, it's too hard to get now! I can't fit through that door, so I guess I'll have to go over here. Taking care of the spinies, we can go through the next door and ooh, traps! Thankfully, pretty easy to dodge traps. The minecart in here is upside down, and despite the fact that we're on this dangerous, life-threatening adventure, Link is still only about 10 years old, so we won't be flipping that on our own anytime soon. Thankfully, we can just cross over the tracks, and ooh, cracked wall, just break that. Our piece of heart, yes! Ah, we now have 3 pieces. Anyways, we can go back through the door and into the actual doorway of the room, and there's not anything else to do. Let's just hop down here. Oh, sweet Hylia! So these are great choo-choos. If you hit them, they will quickly turn into a ball of spikes that is immune to sharp things. The trick here is to then hit them while they're jumping at you, because everyone knows that chews can't utilize their special powers while they're jumping, obviously. Killing these chews reveals an especially ornate chest, inside of which is the Cane of Pocky. Pachi? Posse. Cane of Posse. A magic cane with the power to flip things over. Well, that's extremely convenient, actually. One of the main uses of the cane in this dungeon is its ability to flip over rocks, turning them from their spiny side to their much smoother side, allowing us to walk over them without taking damage or being thrown into lava. Ezlo points out we might be able to use the magic of the cane to jump into holes, which would have been really cool to learn if the magic item description hadn't told me the exact same thing a few minutes ago. But we use the cane to hop up to the ledge and press the button to open the door, and although we can't use the cane to flip over the spike traps, we can use it on the minecart. Going for a quick ride, we're able to grab a small chest by knocking its post into the nearby convenient, perfectly circular hole in the ground, and thus another small key. Taking the minecart back, we can hop right down into the room we were just in and open the door, revealing another downward staircase. While there is a switch here, I ultimately decided to leave it alone. Then, using the Minish portal, we can shrink down and very carefully run through the green spike traps, which move on their own. The next room has a small maze with these odd red things and an upside down minecart. Since we can't use the Cane of Patsy while we're all zoomed out and tiny like this, there's nothing to do but go through the maze, return to normal size, and start to go back! Those are motion sensor traps. Okay, nope. Thank you, very convenient gaps in the wall. Flipping the minecart, we can take it back to the first room, and thank goodness we left that track alone, otherwise we wouldn't be able to do anything. Now though, we can change the track and head to the next room. There's a lot of holes going in that switch, but thankfully there's a lot of pill bugs. Just don't worry about the fact that dragging this massive stone post over the monsters and kill them, or about the fact that this switch performs its intended duty, despite being on a stone post and not actually connected to anything as far as we can tell. But hitting the switch lets us move onward, so really, let's not question it too much, yeah? Now, there's not much of anything we can do up here, but thankfully we can hop down here and then jump back up and get ourselves a green kinstone piece. And then we can hop back up and jump right back down over to this chest and get a blue kinstone piece. Making our way through the room, we'll hit another lava room, but this one's got some spikies. I'll save you guys the tedium of me running around flipping things and skip to the good stuff. We got 100 rupees from this chest down here, and floating across the lava gave us another green kinstone piece, and floating across the lava in a different direction gave us the boss key. With that key in hand, we can go through these superimposing doors, smash a few pots to trap a fairy bottle, and plummet to our doom. I mean, the final boss room! Now, earlier I referenced the Return of Ati's version of the Cave of Flames. While the bulk of their dungeon was very different from this one, they did have another thing in common with this version. That being that their final boss was a Glee Rock. However, in-game, the strategy for hitting this guy is pretty different from the D&D version. We need to run around the lava pool, dodging his fire blast, until we have a good angle to shoot the cane of Patsy at him. This blast will pry his shell from his body and flip it over to hit him on what is probably a very vulnerable area, given, you know, the giant stone armor he normally wears on it. But with his weak spot struck, the Glee Rock will collapse for a few moments, allowing us to run along his neck and strike at that shiny gem. Because after all, this is a Zelda game. If there's something shiny, the first rule is to hit it as hard as you physically can. It takes us a few rounds, with the Glee Rock growing more and more angry every time, though really can you blame him? But eventually, amidst a fiery inferno, we finally defeat the beast. As the lava solidifies, allowing us to walk over it, we can pick up the fire element. Snagging our heart container as well, we are able to take this portal to leave the dungeon, and that is where our story ends for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I apologize again for the problem with the video. I can assure you I've gone into my settings and fixed them up so it shouldn't be an issue anymore, and I'll see you guys next week. But if you enjoyed the video and you want to see some more of Minish Cap, be sure to hit that subscribe. Not only does it help you find my videos more easily, it really does help me out. And I know you've probably heard before, but only 12% of people that watch the channel are subscribed. But I'll see you guys next week with some more Minish Cap, and until then, good